Hey you guys, welcome to the Trail and Travel channel. My name's Erica and I am going to take you through my favorite hikes of 2022. I originally wasn't going to make a video like this, but I started looking back on the hikes that I've done this past year and I just had so many good memories come up that I just wanted to share my top favorite ones with you. My top favorite hike of 2022 definitely has to be the Grand Canyon. In 2022, me and my dad hiked rim to rim from the North Kaibab Trail all the way to Bright Angel Trail. This was an amazing hike. I am going to do this hike many more times in my life, but this was our very first time doing this hike, and this is the most mileage we had ever covered in one single day. This trail is definitely nothing to sneeze at. It was 5,500 feet of elevation gain and about 4,700 feet of elevation loss. So quite a bit of elevation change the whole hike, but oh my gosh, the views are absolutely spectacular. You don't see anything else like it unless you're at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, just soaking in the beauty. During this hike, we got to stop at Ribbon Falls, we stopped at multiple water stops, and just had an amazing time. We spent 11 hours on that trail just soaking up the immense beauty that the Grand Canyon has to offer. Moving on to my second favorite hike of all of 2022. This is going to be a hike that's found in northern Utah in the Uinta Mountains. This is the Red Castle Lake hike. My dad and I decided to do this hike in one single day, and it was about 24 miles. Not a ton of elevation gain here, but lots and lots of miles. It was such a beautiful hike. You really get the stunning Uinta landscape almost the entire time. On this trail, there is tons of water, so you will have lots of opportunity to fill up and filter your water throughout the trek. And this is also a very popular trail to backpack. One of these days, my goal is to backpack this trail and get to spend the night up at Red Castle Lake. Red Castle Lake was on my to-do list for a very long time. This is such an incredible hike that I've been wanting to do, and so being able to check it off my bucket list in 2022 was phenomenal. This is a hike that I will definitely do again in the future. My third favorite hike of all of 2022 is going to have to be my Kings Peak expedition. So Kings Peak is the tallest peak in Utah, and it's also located in the Uintas. It was really wonderful being able to spend that time with myself and on the trail and out in nature. I ran across so many people that were scared for me to be out there on my own, but I felt very confident and I felt really sure in my abilities to accomplish what needed to be done. There were such cool moose on the trail, and I've never seen moose that up close. To pack extra light, I decided to not bring a tent this trip and to only sleep in a hammock. And I am so lucky and grateful that I brought a rain fly. Not because it rained, but there were so many bugs, and I ended up just laying the rain tarp just right directly over my hammock, so it prevented all the bugs from getting to me, which was so nice, and I probably would have been pretty miserable had I not brought that rain tarp. So I'm really glad that I brought that. For anyone else who is going to hike Kings Peak or in the Uintas in general in the spring, beware, there are going to be a ton of bugs and especially mosquitoes. This trail is typically about 25 miles long. Kings Peak is over 13,000 feet. You're hiking probably around 10,000 feet or more the entire time. So there is a ton of elevation, and I definitely felt that living in a really low elevation area and going into the Uintas and doing hiking. I definitely felt that on my lungs. So this is going to take you a little bit longer than you probably think, and it's not the mileage or the elevation gain, it's just hiking at that height. The whole trail is about 3,300 feet of elevation gain. Kings Peak is a peak that I have done before, and I was super, super excited to be able to do it solo and accomplish the whole thing. This was a really neat experience for me in 2022. The fourth top hike of 2022 is definitely going to be Spanish Fork Peak. I lived in Utah County for 18 years or more of my life. I grew up there, and I had never spent any time hiking any of the 7 peaks. and I feel like that was a little bit of a crime. So this past summer, 2022, I decided that I was going to start hiking some of the peaks up there. And I did get Mount Nebo and then Spanish Fork Peak and attempted Mount Timpanogos, however, failed because of rain and harsh conditions. But Spanish Fork Peak was an absolute blast. I had such a great time hiking that one. And you get to hike around the front of the mountain, so you get this expansive view of Utah County and Utah Lake. And it's just honestly was one of my favorite hikes this year. It's definitely got a lot of incline to it and a lot of different rocky elements. There was snow on it still when I decided to hike it, but it was so much fun. The Maple Lake had plenty of water in it, and you can refill your water there if you need to. Definitely would recommend a filter. This trail has about 4,700 feet of elevation gain, so a lot of elevation gain in a fairly short amount of time. This trail is 11 and a half miles approximately. The first handful of miles, you don't really get a ton of views, but towards the top, it is absolutely stunning and totally worth it. Moving on to the fifth and final favorite hike of 2022, and that has to be Observation Point in Zion National Park. Zion National Park is honestly one of my favorite national parks, and most likely that's because it's the one I've spent the most time in. Zion National Park is about an hour, maybe an hour and a half from us if there's traffic, but we go there so frequently, and this was the very first time that I had done Observation Point. A couple years ago, there was a rock fall to the original Observation Point site and trailhead, so you haven't been able to access that trail for quite some time. However, they have done some renovations, and if you can access this trailhead on the backside of Zion National Park, this is a trail that I have wanted to do for so long, but with the rock fall, I haven't been able to access that trail. So with this whole new renovation of the hike and having it start from outside Zion's National Park and hiking in, I was so excited to learn that this was now available for me to hike. I have done all kinds of different hikes in Zion National Park, and this was absolutely one of my favorites by far. To see Angel's Landing and see down Zion Canyon from Observation Point was seriously spectacular. I highly recommend this hike to anyone who's going to be in the Zion National Park area. It is totally worth it. This hike is only about 7 miles long and only had about 700 feet of elevation gain, so it is not very tough. The only thing is this hike is fairly exposed, and if you're hiking this in the spring, summer, maybe even fall, you're going to want to pack enough water. There's no access to water on this trail, so just be prepared for that. The views are gonna knock your socks off though. All right, you guys, that is going to wrap up this video. Those are my top 5 favorite hikes of 2022. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I have so many spectacular hikes planned for 2023, and I'm so freaking excited to share them with you guys. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, drop the like button below, and remember to subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this, recap on my hikes, travel experiences, all the good things. Leave a comment below and tell me which of these hikes was your favorite. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.